Well, the San Francisco 49ers lose a 33-19 battle here to the Baltimore Ravens. It was an ugly one. A stinker here on Christmas. And this one was just not pretty at all from the start. You talk about the offense first. Brock Purdy, 18 of 32, 255 yards, but four interceptions in this one. Four interceptions against potentially the Super Bowl favorite. That is not going to cut it. The 49ers in this one had an intriguing game plan. I mean, really went more pass heavy. A lot of passes on that first drive where they ended up scoring. A lot of passes overall, or the second drive, I guess. A lot of passing early on, not too much of the run game. And when you look at the interceptions, the first one, Brock Purdy's fault. I mean, that one's just a tad bit late. Didn't it was a great play from Kyle Hamilton, not being baited by Purdy trying to look him off. The second one, probably bad luck, the way that one gets tipped. That one seemed like it could have gone for a long play, just the way Baltimore schemed that up. Just unlucky the way that it fell with the tip pass and then the interception. The third one, it seemed more 50-50. It seemed just another, Kyle Hamilton at the right place at the right time, but Purdy also looked to try and force that one in. Didn't seem like the best decision overall for the 49ers, and obviously him trying to do it just a little too much ends up with that third pick. Fourth one, ugly one, just behind, or sorry, not behind, in front of the receiver. And there were a couple of balls, that could have been picked off too. The 49ers probably had 8 potential interceptions in this game. Sam Darnold ended the game with one, and this one was just a head scratcher. Got to also point at Kyle Shanahan. I thought there were a couple of play calls specifically. I mean, the idea not to start off this game with a run, knowing how physical this contest could be, I didn't know if that was the best idea. I don't think that's what exactly harmed them, but I didn't think that was the best plan. A couple of intriguing decisions. I mean, third and goal, you don't run the football there at the very end. That's just one that comes to recent memory. And a few more that'll definitely pop up as we rewatch the film. I guess some of the positives, I mean, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk both have big games. Ayuk's catches mainly came in kind of in garbage time when the 49ers are trying to clean things up. Kittle had a pretty big game early on, but also he was the one targeted on the interception, and he had a ball where he probably should have caught it early on. Ended, though, with 7 catches for 126 yards, or it was either 7 or 8 catches. So a big game for George Kittle. Now we got to look at a lot of things because offensively there are a lot of injuries. Trent Williams right now with a groin injury didn't return. Jalen Moore, the backup, had a concussion. You now had Colton McKivitz at the left side, Spencer Burford on the right side. Aaron Banks even left the game with an injury. There's a lot of stuff to figure out along the offensive line. That was probably the worst position group maybe on the on the day, given the way that they just couldn't handle Baltimore's pressure. But this game was what I was worried about. I've kind of prefaced how I don't believe the 49ers are going to win a Super Bowl in 2023. And it really came down to when it comes down to moments like these where you're playing from behind, can the 49ers really muster enough offense to potentially get through and pull those type of games through? Or, kind of pull a win out. They haven't really done so far. Those games early on in the season, those close games, weren't really able to, fight them out, especially in the fourth quarter. This one, again, a game where you're down 3 scores for, a solid portion of the game. Not the best outlook, especially against a team where this one could have been a very important game or a very intriguing matchup as a potential Super Bowl preview. So a lot to clean up on the offensive end and a lot to think about. The 49ers now, to guarantee they get the number 1 seed, will need a win out against the Rams and against the Commanders. Otherwise, they'll require help from somebody else. Defensively, I thought they started well. You force 3 field goals in the first half against Baltimore, especially when you weren't given great field position. I thought that was a good sign. But overall, I think there's still a good amount to be done defensively. It seemed like they were gassed in the second half once again for the second consecutive week, allowed Baltimore to kind of get whatever they want. They scored 2 touchdowns, ended up taking the 3-score lead. Not a great second half defensive performance. I think there's a lot of things to wrinkle out there. But the 49ers, this is one that you kind of got to flush away, look to win the next 2. They ended 11-4 now going into the last 2 games. Still got control of the 1 seed, still got control of the NFC West. But now you got a lot of questions and potential questions in the playoffs of how well this team can go. A lot of things to discuss. Stay tuned on the channel, on Niners Nation. We got a lot of coverage coming your way. Appreciate everybody for following along, and Merry Christmas to you all.